Struts and stopping distance. So, do shocks and struts actually have anything to do with your stopping distance, how fast you can stop your car? So, you replace your brakes, but your car still doesn't feel totally like it's supposed to. It doesn't feel like you're in control. It doesn't feel like it's stopping as fast as it's supposed to. You get new brake pads, maybe even new rotors. The pedal feels firm. The shop says everything looks good. But then you get on the road, something feels off. The front end dies when you stop. The car bounces after bumps. It takes longer to stop than you remember. Your tires feel like they're not gripping fully. You start to wonder, is something wrong with my brakes? The answer is maybe not. The real problem may be your shocks and the struts, and they may be compromising your ability to stop as soon as you should be able to. Worn shocks and struts can increase braking distance by 20 to 30%. That's not an exaggeration. That's real. I mean, if you put into the internet, worn shocks and struts, can worn shocks and struts increase braking distance by 20 to 30%? And have the internet answer it for you. I mean, it's not me saying it. It's just literally the physics of how it works. And that's not a small the difference is not small. At 60 miles an hour, that could mean an extra 30 to 50 feet before your vehicle comes to a complete stop. That's the difference between avoiding an accident and becoming a part of one. The only time that this really matters is when it matters. The only time that you're actually going to be concerned about this for real is when you need your vehicle to stop. And I don't know about you, but when I need my vehicle to stop, I want it to stop as soon as is humanly possible. Shocks and struts are a part of your vehicle's suspension system, but their role goes far beyond ride comfort. They are directly responsible for keeping your tires in full contact with the road, and without tire contact, your brakes cannot stop the car effectively. So what do shocks and struts actually do? Shocks dampen the motions of your suspension and reduce bounce. They're a spring dampener. Simple, straightforward. They are a spring dampener. That's their job. Their job is to keep your tire in contact with the ground, not for a good ride, but so that you can stop. They make it to where your tire stays in contact with the ground. Struts combine shock absorption with structural support, helping control ride height, alignment, and steering stability. They're an integral part of your suspension, in other words. Together, they maintain the balance, control, tire-to-road connection your vehicle needs to stop properly, especially under pressure. They're not just comfort parts. They're the control system that allows your brakes and tires to work the way they're designed to. So how do worn shocks and struts sabotage stopping power? So tire bounce and lift equal loss of traction. When your shocks or struts are worn, your tires bounce more after bumps. Even a slight hop off the pavement reduces contact, and that means less traction. Less traction equals longer stopping distance. Even if your brake pads are brand new, they can't create stopping force without the tires fully gripping the road. If your car is actually nosediving and the rear end is lifting, your shocks and struts have been so worn out for so long it's not even funny. The problem is with shocks and struts is they wear out so slowly. So they're not talking about leaking. I'm just talking about wearing out internally. And they wear out slowly. So that by 75,000 miles, the average shock and strut has done 1.5 million significant up downs. 1.5 million significant up downs. So they are they're worn out. They need to be replaced at 75,000 miles. That's just the way it works. So when you slam the brakes, your vehicle's weight shifts forward. You're going into a nosedive, meaning your shocks and struts are worn out. Healthy struts manage this shift smoothly, but if your struts are worn, the weight transfer becomes more aggressive. The front of the vehicle dives hard while the rear lifts up, lightening rear traction and unbalancing the entire system. This puts extra stress on your front brakes, throws off your stability, and increases the chance of skidding or ABS activation in slippery conditions. And bluntly, extra distance is extra risk. The average car in good condition stops from 60 miles per hour in about 130 feet, with worn suspension components, it can take 160 or more. That's 2 to 3 car lengths. That's the space between you and the vehicle in front of you on the highway. That's the space between you and the vehicle in front of you on the highway. That's the difference between stopping at a red light or sliding into the intersection, between protecting your family or ending up in an emergency room. That's why suspension maintenance isn't just a comfort issue. It's a safety issue, a big one. Your brakes don't work alone. They work as a system. To stop safely, your vehicle relies on 3 systems working in harmony: the brakes, the tires, and the suspension. Just like if you don't have any tread left on your tires, you got slicks. It's going to stay in contact with the ground, okay, but it's not going to grip the ground. So between your brakes, your tires, and your suspension, the 3 have got to be in good condition for them all to be working like they're supposed to for you to be able to stop. If you don't need a mechanic to know when your suspension might be worn, and if you're waiting for your suspension to be worn, that's so wrong, it's not even funny. You need to find a shop you can trust and then replace your shocks and struts at 75,000 miles. It's just the way that it works. So, don't wait for your car to dip forward when braking, the ride to feel bouncy or floating after bumps, to feel a delay or wobble when steering, the rear end squats when accelerating, your tires show uneven or cupped wear. You hear clunking or knocking from the suspension. You feel less in control during cornering or stopping. Don't wait for any of those. Replace your shocks and struts before any of that happens. If you're waiting for your car to need any of those, think about it. Once a tire starts a wear pattern, it's going to continue to wear that way, even after you replace the parts that caused it to wear that way, or realign it, or whatever, or rebalance it that caused the tire to start wearing that way. It's still going to wear that way no matter what you do after that. So you just ruined your tires. So what's the real cost of ignoring suspension problems? Many drivers wait until they really notice something wrong before they act. They delay, and the longer you delay, the more expensive and dangerous it's going to be. I hate to use the words unsafe, and I hate to use the words dangerous, but when we're talking about brakes, I'm going to use them. Here's what happens when you ignore worn shocks and struts. Braking distance increases dramatically. Tires wear unevenly and need to be replaced sooner. Brake components wear out faster due to stress. Steering becomes unpredictable, especially in wet or windy conditions or icy conditions. Suspension parts can fail completely, leading to dangerous breakdown. Why not understand that the reason you change your oil is to maintain your vehicle? But we're not going to change the rest of our fluids. We're not going to change our shocks and our struts to protect our upper control arms, our upper strut mounts, our ball joints, our rack and pinion, our motor mounts, our transmission mounts. We're not going to try and protect all of the rest of the car. We're not going to worry about the belts or the hoses, the spark plugs. We're not going to worry about all of the car. We're just going to worry about changing the oil. Okay, not a good idea. And again, find a shop that you can definitely trust. But bluntly, most shocks are going to wear out between 50 to 100,000 miles. So 75,000 miles, that's between 50 and 100,000 miles. I'm recommending them hardcore, no matter what, at 75,000 miles. That way you might have got a little bit more out of them than you were supposed to from 50, but you're not waiting till 100. Because at 100, no. It definitely needs to be replaced. Okay? Don't wait until your suspension collapses for your car to feel different. If it bounces, dips, or pulls, if you're using more road than you should have come to a stop, trust your instincts and quit worrying about your wallet and get the shocks and struts replaced. This is huge. This is massive. This is a big deal. Please, whatever you do, let's take care of it.